Hi, in this demo I'm going to go through the fantastic Lightbox from Crafts2 and a couple of ideas of how to use it apart from using it with the crystal art. It's perfect with your crystal art, with your diamond pictures, all of that sort of thing, but it's also a really useful tool. I've been using mine for nearly sort of good 18 months now. So the space that you actually get, this isn't lit up at the moment, is 13 inches square. So if I bring in a 12-inch ruler, you can see you've actually got the extra inch on the end. So you're actually talking about a 13-inch space that you can use, which lights up, and it's extremely lightweight and flexible. So you can easily sit with this on your lap, on a tray, or placed on a desk like this. It charges up with a simple plug-in charger, which comes with a USB connection, and you have one control, which makes it easy. So turn it to switch it on, press it up to take the volume down, press it again to take it up. So you can get it extremely bright, or you can take it down to whichever level that you want to go to. So depending on what you're going to be doing and what light source you want, and one button and it turns off and it just closes itself down. And it's an LED light, so it's a clean light source, and it's clean across the whole of the panel, which works beautifully. So I'm just going to turn this one on. There we go, let's get it nice and intense. So I want it bright. So what I'm going to do is use a standard stencil. So this is just one of my standard stencils that we would use for stenciling through, for colouring and inking. But of course you can use this with your parchment or with your card, and you can see through perfectly because of the light coming through. So I've just stuck down my stencil, this is A5, and I've got a piece of parchment or vellum here, and I'm just going to tape that on top really simply. And I'm using a ball tool, and this is from the Crafts2 Blossom kits. This is ball tool size sort of 1 and 2, the smallest and the next one up. And again, you can almost see the stencil completely. It doesn't look as if you've got any paper on top. And all I'm going to do is just trace the lines. So this is great for taking those stencils that you've already got, or for using in your parchment craft or anything like that. And I'm just drawing around the outside lines. So I'm just going to do this flower. So we'll go around there, take it around. Really simply, let's do this little flower here and follow it round. We've got the little dots, so I'm just going to press into those and this little flower here, and we'll finish it there. And what we'll find is when I peel that off, you can see I have the raised image. So if I bring in a little piece of white card, you can see there, hopefully I've got that raised image on that. I'm actually going to bring in a piece that I did a little bit earlier. So I did the whole of the section, so I did the whole of the stencil, and then I've just framed it with a little die cut here to give me a really simple look. So that's doing a stencil. You can do that with normal stencils, metal stencils, anything that you want to, and it just makes it so much easier. And of course what you can do is you can trace off certain bits, so you can choose the design you want. So here, let's go through. I've got that flower. I'd like to add that to this little bunch here, so let's move that in a little bit. So I can use this larger flower, and you can create your own design. You don't have to follow the stencil exactly, because you can see exactly where you're going. So really simple, follow the lines around, and bring that down, and then I've got my flower leading to a second flower. I hope that's coming across okay. So one of the ways I love to use my Lightbox is when I've been sketching and I want to turn it into a stamp or a line art or move it onto the computer. So what I've got here is a very quick sketch of a sort of rough flower that I've done. But obviously what I've got is a lot of these sort of sketchy lines around here and things that wouldn't actually register when I came to put it onto a computer. So what I would do is I take a piece of vellum or parchment, pop it over the top, and the Lightbox means that I can see all the lines that I've actually drawn, which lets me then use a pen, and this is a micron pen, quite a fine line pen. It gives me a dark line, which is what I would need for a stamp or something like that. And what it allows me to do is just trace the actual line that is the best line on the stamp. So I'm going to trace around some of these flower petals, So we'll just probably do 3 or 4 of these. But if you can see, what I'm actually doing is tracing the line that's the final line I want. And then in the centre here, I'm going to pop the centre in. I put a sort of set of like sort of circles, and I can trace those off, fill the space, but I can see through underneath. So if I want to correct anything, I can do that as I'm going along. And I would do more work on this, obviously, once I've actually moved it. It allows me to put those lines in, and let's put some sort of the shading lines in. So what I've done is I've sketched a lot from the side, so those would need to be a lot more definite lines. So we'll put some of those in, following those lines that are going along. Do this other petal here, very simply, and then again we've got that centre line, and they are flicking out. Trace that line in, but you can see there I can actually then see exactly where I'm going, put definitive lines in for the darker lines, and it allows me to get that image across. So I've gone from that sketchy image there to that more definitive line there, which would work perfectly as a stamp, and I would carry on with that and move it into the computer and work. And I love working this way. This tends to be one of the ways that I sketch. But it's just a different idea that you can do using the Lightbox, and the large area really makes it worthwhile.